So Route 53 is what yesterday we have seen about DNS, the functionality, how the DNS works. So same DNS in this cloud is known as Route 53. Okay. So it is a scalable DNS web service. Means here we can create a DNS server in this cloud with the help of Route 53 service. It can register domain, act as a registrar server. Means yesterday we have seen GoDaddy. There is another website like Hostingers. Okay. So if we have anything to register, domain name registration, then we go in any third party, like a traditional data center. When we are going to set up, we create a separate DNS server, and then for the domain name registration, we go to the any domain name registration service provider. But here in this AWS, in the Route 53 itself, you have the feature to register for the domain, and also you can create a full DNS server also here, where you can add your records, name, IP address, like how you add your phone numbers in your mobile in phone book. Okay. Point domain name to AWS service means we have seen load balancer, we have seen cloud, what was that? Cloud front. Okay, we have seen S3 static website hosting, but for this all, if you see, there was a some different type of URL which we cannot share to user. User cannot type that type of URL, or they cannot keep it somewhere and copy paste to open your website. If it is like that, they will not access your service. So we need to point any AWS service as a domain name like www.basant.com, and when someone is trying to open that, it should point towards any of our like load balancer or any website or any cloud front, like this type of things. Health checks of resource. So here we have the option that we can create health check. If the resource is available, then only it will resolve in that. So health check option will be available when we have multiple resource available for the same data. Okay, means inside the load balancer we have multiple servers, then the load balancer will work. Or we have multiple websites, static website in the S3 bucket, and with the same content, and we are pointing towards them. So if they want to resolve it, first it will check for the health. You came without chair. You have to bring chair from home now. Next is alias or canonical name. So here we can create short names for the AWS resource or for any other resource record. Like yesterday we have seen for www.googleco.in, the name was something different when we search with the IP. Okay, so that was created as an alias. Routing policy. What exactly is a routing policy? So your routing policy means if any name comes for the resolution, okay, and we have multiple IP address of the servers, so we can define how it has to resolve it. Okay, so just an example. So suppose I have two server for basant.com. So in DNS, I will map two IP address, means IP address of both the server with the same name. Okay. So suppose this is the mapping. So now how this DNS will resolve? If someone asks or someone sends the query, so it will give IP 10 or 100. Suppose 10 is the IP of this server and 100 is the IP of this server. So how DNS will work? I have pointed both the server for the same name for resolution. So generally, if routing policies are not configured, then DNS work as a round robin. Round robin means for the first query, it will resolve 10 as an IP. For the second query, it will resolve 100 as an IP. Third query, again 10 as an IP. Understood? For the same name. So this is how generally works. In real scenario, every organization which is critical, they have two things, DC and DR. Okay. So DCDR means one data center which will be the main data center. So all the requests will go to that data center. If that data center fails due to any reason, okay, suppose there is any natural disaster, suppose if there is a power cut in that area, if there is an internet issues in that area, if there is any fire, then it should automatically the traffic should go to DR site. Okay, so these things we can define with this. Move your chairs this side. Hey, you come front, so they can open gate and come in. Hmm. थोड़ा गया. Only two is there. Okay, so every company have two data centers or more than two also they keep based on their critical applications. So when they have two data center like DC and DR, they give IP address, service IP address of both the location with the same name. So what happen if the request comes for the DC, yeah, sorry, for the domain name, it will resolve from one IP. And then if that is not available, then on the second. But DNS don't have this option to check the health. When we talk about public DNS, which we have this Google DNS, which we have seen yesterday. So these DNS don't have health check option. Only it will do as a round robin. Okay. So that's why there is a problem that 50% of your record will go to one data center, 50% will go to another data center, your request, client request. So what happens? They give only one IP. If there is any change, they go and make changes in the DNS, add the new IP. So the traffic will route there to the DR site, okay, or second data center. But in that it takes time of almost 24 to 48 hours. When we make changes in the public DNS like GoDaddy or any other websites, it takes 48 hours to replicate, to update these changes in all the DNS servers. Okay, so till that, what will happen? This service will not be accessible by the user. That is why nowadays people are using a solution where we have health check option. Means along with the DNS, there should be health check. So first, this DNS will monitor the health of both the IPs and the healthy IP. Whenever anyone is trying to access the service, it will give healthy IP address. Healthy IP address means the IP address on which service is accessible. Is it clear? Confusion? Hmm? Clear this one? So what you understood? Health check is very important nowadays. Everywhere people are using health check. So how does this health check work? Suppose I am the DNS server or the load balancer, whatever it is. If I have to do health check, I have to administrator will configure which method I will use. Suppose my servers are giving service for HTTP, okay, or HTTPS web service. Then as a device, if I have to do health check, I will send HTTP request every 5 seconds and the server has to respond with HTTP response. If continuously 3 times I have sent, but I am not getting response from the server, then I will mark that server as a down. And if I am getting continuously 3 times response, then I will mark that server as a up. So this is how two devices communicate with each other for health check. Is it clear? So health check method is defined by the administrator. Suppose HTTP is not there. They want to use ICMP. So in ICMP, what will happen? Ping. So it will send echo message and then it will get the reply. If it is not happening, then it will mark that server as a down. Now, so here I have given for besant.com two IP address. So what this server will do, DNS server will do, it will send to both every 5 seconds. If it is getting reply from both server are up. If it is not getting reply from any one, then it will mark that server as a down and second as a up. Now as a client any request comes, it will check in the database and it will come to know that okay, this IP is down, this IP is up. So in which IP it will resolve? The one which is up. Understood? So this is how health check is going to work. Here, when we talk about simple routing policies, so simple routing policy means one-to-one mapping. Means one domain name is mapped with only one resource. Means only with one IP or with any one load balancer or with any one S3 websites. So there is nothing. Simply the request came and it has been forwarded to that web service, sorry, with AWS resource, and accordingly the resource will respond. Okay, so one-to-one mapping we use simple routing policy. Next is failover routing policy. So failover routing policy means definitely there will be more than one resource for the same. So route the traffic to healthy instance. If the instance is unhealthy, then it will forward to the second one, just like a DCDR. First data center that will be set on priority. So any request come will be resolved with this IP, data center, main data center IP. If its health is down, then it will be forwarded to DR or the backup data centers IP. Understood? So request is forwarded by DNS only based on the IP. Okay. Now the next is geo routing location, geo routing policy. Geolocation routing policy means what? Here we can define the user traffic request based on the geographical area. So while configuring it, we can define if any request comes from Europe, I will give this IP. Means the IP address of the Europe data center. I have data center in multiple locations. So I will set, suppose, just take an example of India. So India is mainly in four parts: south, north, east, and west. Suppose I have data center in all four locations. Okay. So if any request comes from southern part of India, I will give IP address of which data center? Gujarat or Delhi? Huh? I have four data center in all four locations: north, east, west, and south. In south, I have in Bangalore. East, suppose it is in Kolkata. North is in Delhi, and west is in suppose Gujarat. So if any request comes from South India, from the users of South India, so I will forward where, in Gujarat or Delhi? Huh? Gujarat, Gujarat or Kolkata. So we have to configure policy based on the nearby location. Okay, so why we need to set it to Bangalore? Why not to Gujarat or Delhi? Because if you are trying to access anything from here to Bangalore, there is a distance, and it's not like things are going via satellite and via air. So there is a cable. Okay. So cable is from here to till Gujarat for all our internet connectivity and everything. So our data packet has to travel from here to Gujarat to access the service. So it will take time. So there will be latency. We will get slow response. If my request, I'm sitting in Bangalore and the data center is also in Bangalore. But if I send our request to Gujarat and Bangalore, which will be faster? Bangalore, we can access fast. So for this type of scenario, we use geolocation routing policy. State wise also we can define, or we can define country wise if any request comes from a specific country. So how these requests are identified? These requests are identified that you are accessing from Bangalore or you are accessing from Tamil Nadu, wherever, based on the public IP address. When you are accessing, you will have public IP address and there is a database which contains this IP address belongs to which location, and based on that database this DNS server is able to identify this request is coming from which location, and then whatever policy we have configured for that location, it will resolve the IP address. Is it clear? Next is weighted routing policy. So weighted routing policy is what? Suppose I have two or more data centers. So what I want, 50% of the traffic has to go to one data center, 50% on second data center. So the weight value will be 1 1. I want that no, 75% of the traffic has to go to main data center and 25% has to go to another data center. So for that, I will set 3 1. So three requests on one data center, one request on one data center. So that is called weighted round robin. So how it will happen? Continuously three requests I will resolve with one IP, and fourth request I will resolve with another IP. So any confusion is the theory? No confusion. Don't worry. I will have confusion on test and mock. And on that day, if you don't reply, then what I will do? I will do nothing. Don't worry. Okay. So these all were the theories of Route 53. I think yesterday I have shared, na? AWS. Very good. Don't able to. Okay. Now let us see how this Route 53 looks like. These are some concept which I am to give you clearly because I am training on the same concepts for the corporate users. There is a one of our product called GSLB, Global Server Load Balancer, and that is as a smart DNS. So whatever we have seen, health check of the DNS resource, then weighted round robin, failover policies, geo-based policies. So these all features are available in this box for which I am going for the trainings. So that is the reason I am able to tell you about the real scenarios, why customers are using these features. You all didn't ask about any project, that whether you are going to work on project or not. You want to do project? Sure, now. But I would like to clear one thing. The project will be not from the topic which I have taught. The reason behind that is whatever I have taught, that is okay. I know you can do it. I'll give you create something with using this service immediately. It is very easier for you to do. When you go in corporate to work, there what you will get to do? Create a S3 bucket, upload the data. Will you get that type of work? Something challenging, something different, which you have not done in the course. Then how you will do there? Then again come to the patient and ask, do you have any codes for these things? And then you will take admission once again, correct? So what you will do on that time? Huh? You will search on Google, follow the steps, and you will perform. You will not go to any institute. So that is the reason I have searched some link. From there, I have received almost 10 or 15 different projects are there. But the good thing of that link is under every project, they have given a reference link where all the steps are there that you can perform and do this practical. So it is all up to you that you select from that whatever project you want. For me, if I give, I'll write two, three different projects. That's it. Try this, try this, try this. But there are almost 15, 10 to 15 projects. Some projects, two or three, are very simple. Post a static website in SQL bucket. That is nothing. Simple, very simple. But there are some projects create a chatbot. Now, what are the things needed for that? All steps are mentioned. So, using those things, you have to complete your projects. So, let me share that. And I'm not going to follow up for this whether you have done or not. It's all up to you on your own interest. If you want to learn, you try. And later, if you have any problem, then you can reach out to me. But again, I will suggest try by your own first. So there are 10 projects. 7 a.m. No, this one. Okay. So in this project, let me show you how the things look like. And I know if you try little bit, you will be able to perform this on. So pluralsite.com. So 10 projects they have given. So first and very easy project. Launch a static website on Amazon S3. Without seeing anything you can do. But see, so S3 then it is mapped in the cloud front. So in the previous class we have done the same. Then in the Route 53 we have to add the resource, map the resource with the domain and then certificate manager. To get started, check out this online tutorial. Okay. So how you will perform? So there you have the steps. You see step 1 to till 12. In this, definitely you are not going to have full, okay, but almost. You see index document, error document, then subdomain bucket for website redirection. So they have given some of the example. Upload the index. So if you are stuck at any place, then only you refer this, else you use your own. You see, add alias record for your domain and subdomain. Okay, for that you see, add an alias record for your root domain and subdomain. Okay. So how to do it? Open the console, create a hosted zone, create a record, simple routing, define, okay, route traffic to, okay, choose the region, choose the S3 bucket, okay, and then you'll be able to. So can you do this all? So next is use cloud formation to launch an EC2 web server. Again, for that also you see cloud formation, EC2 and VPC and some components. Similarly, CI/CD is not part of this. Okay, but okay, we have. If you can follow the steps and try, then you can. Code pipeliner, code stars. At least with a sample, you can try. Publish CloudWatch metrics to CSV file using Amazon Lambda. Train and deploy a machine learning model using Amazon SageMaker. Create a chatbot that translates language using Amazon Translate and Amazon Lex. So this will be little bit challenging, but the thing is now you are familiar with the AWS environment. So how AWS works and all. So if you are going to try this, definitely in one go, some of the practical you will not be able to, but you have to try. In the real scenario, you will have challenges like this. Okay. So there are 10 options. So you can try anyone. Alexa. Then here you see recognize celebrities using Amazon Recognition, AWS Lambda and Amazon S3. These type of things. Host a dedicated Jenkins servers on Amazon EC2. What are the services used? EC2 VPC that you already know. Okay. So like this you can try. So this is about your projects. Okay. So now coming back to the Route 53. If you see Route 53, it is writing a scalable DNS and domain name registration. So here we have the four functionality. One, DNS management, traffic management using the policies, availability monitoring, and domain name registration. So let us see the easiest one, that is domain name registration. So what we will do here, search a domain. So first we have to search for availability. Okay. So what happened? It searched or not? Okay, search result is down. No? Tech.com is not available. So what is the solution next? Suggestions are available. Understood? Okay. Tanvi.in is not available. Another options we have. And these are the price. Okay. So this is not much, only yearly. Okay. So next, suppose I want to use this. Okay. So select. So already selected. $14 is only the charge. And next, proceed to checkout. So when we are going to proceed for checkout, then what it will give this for how long? Okay. And auto renewal you want on or off. Next, after this we have to give the details. Contact type, I'm a person, company, public body, reseller, what I am. Person. First name. Phone number. Address. Then here, admin contact, tech contact, and billing contact. So if it is a company, then for admin the contact detail will be different. For the billing accounts it will be a different. And for the tech, means the person who is going to work on this, that will be different. So what we are going to do, when we are going to disable it, we will have this option. And after this, next, once we do the next, the page which will appear will be review and submit. So this domain registration you can do by your own whenever it is required in future for the company. So in your company, if they want to register domain, where you will go? Where do you register the domain? Huh? If your company needs to register domain, then which service you will use? Why Route 53? If you use Route 53, they will deduct this money from your salary. Why they will deduct? You are using your institute knowledge. If you have to purchase anything for company, first you have to do the research where we are getting in less price with the requirement of our company. They need to do what? Domain name registration. So we have to search multiple website which gives this service and what they are offering along with that, and you have to compare the price. If tanveer.com is available on this portal, it will be available on another portal also, because all the database are synced with the common database, root database. So that's why before taking any service, till in the institute you have only one choice. When you go to the corporate, there don't use this knowledge. You have learned things on AWS, you might get a chance to work on Azure, GCP, maybe Oracle Cloud will be they will be using. So they have different situations, and based on their requirement and situations, they select any cloud service provider. Understood? So it's not that everywhere you will get the Amazon and they are very loyal to Amazon only, that all service I will take from Amazon. When we have to deploy any service or any service we want to take from cloud, they will not be always stick to the same service provider. They will do a research which one is the cheaper and what are the features they are offering, and whether those features fulfill the requirement, then only they will go for the registration. So is it clear? So I'm not saying don't use Route 53 and I'm not saying use Route 53. It's all up to the pricing and the requirements. Okay. So this was the option for domain name registration. Okay. Next is DNS management. So first of all, what we need to do is we need to register the domain somewhere. Then we'll go and create hosted zone. So in this hosted zone, what we have to do is domain name. Then you want to create it for what? Public hosted chain. Sorry. Type whether you want to route traffic on internet or in Amazon VPC. So in Amazon VPC, I want to route the traffic. I will select private hosted zone. Okay. VPC associated with hosted zone. So which VPC is associated? So for me, it will be hmm, North Virginia. This one, US East. VPC ID. This is my VPC ID. Okay. If you want to add more, you can add, and then you will create hosted zone. Clear? Now we have created successfully. So if you remember, whenever we create any zone, I told you yesterday, SOA record will be created automatically, startup authority. So here it is created that this server is the DNS server, and NS record, which one is the DNS server. And in this all you see only the name is there, not IP is mapped. So what I was saying yesterday, MX record, NS record, SOA record, only the name will be mapped, and name to IP will be mapped in our host record or pointer records. Okay. So these are the things we have added. Now if I have to add any record here, we have option create record. So you'll go in the create record. Then here it will ask the options. What you want? Simple policy, weighted policy, means multiple requests to one and some of the requests to another servers. Similarly, geographical based, multi-value answer, failover, latency, geo proximity. So these are the options we have to select during creation of the record. So just for an example, if I am going to select this weighted one, then you see what is going to happen. Next, record name. I want to create a record, host record, and define the weight for every record. So here I will give the end point. So what will be the end point? IP address. So IP address, and for that IP address, what will be the weight value and the health check. So weight value will be number of requests I have to forward on this. Okay. So this is how we are going to define the weighted round robin. And see, different types of records are there. So generally we do it for any resource record. You see AWS resource for EC2, API, VPC, CloudFront, S3. So these all things we can route from them. Okay. Or when we are going to create a alias, canonical name, then also we have the option that we can route the traffic accordingly. Okay. Then after this we can define the route. Weighted values. Okay. So in this DNS, what maximum you can do is you can create like a subdomains. You can add the resource records accordingly. Okay. For example, I want to select the routing policy simple. Next, you want to add simple record subdomain. I want to create server1.tanvi.com, and what will be the IP address. Okay. So here we will give the IP address. Define the simple record. You see, understood. So this is simply where we are adding name and IPs. If I have to add pointer record, PTR, IP to name, then here I will select PTR record. Okay, and then I will give any specific IP and then the name. Okay. Understood how to add the records here? In this Route 53, this is the topic where we will not be able to see the exact output. Like in previous practicals, what you have done practice and you have seen the output. Here the reason is, if you want to see those output, we have to register first the domains. Okay. Now, because we are accessing through public and it should get registered through public, then only we can. Now I want to have something here. So what I will do, S3, we have to host a website or either CloudFront or the load balancer. Then only we will be able to. Anyone is having class after this? Python. क्या करेगी Python पर? Okay. So here let me create fast, because to map the resource we should have something there, then only. ACL enabled, public, knowledge, create bucket. Is going to start it now. Okay, so in this bucket, upload, add files, S35 web server, page1.html, permission, understand the effect. Upload successful. Then we have to host the website, static website, edit, enable, page1.html, save the changes. That's it. And let us check whether we are able to access it or not. Yes, we are able to access. Now we have to go to Route 53. Okay, so one hosted zone is there. In this hosted zone, we have to go inside the zone name, create a record. Simple policy, next. Okay, then define simple record. So here we have to select this a record, and then the another option is choose the endpoint. So here the endpoint will be our alias to S3 website endpoint. Choose the region. We have created in North Virginia, US East. Okay, and then here it should appear this record. Okay, so S3 RDS S3. Okay, so North Virginia East 1. So from here we have to search for the record. XPRSRECA. Yes. Site endpoint. So it takes some time to appear here. Okay. Then here we have to select the resource record and the subdomain. Like if we give www.tanvi.com, then to access this website, they have to type www.tanvi.com and that resource will be mapped to S3 website. But prior to this, we have to register the domain with the name tanvi.com. And then when we are trying from outside, then it will be accessible. Okay. So as the time completes, so tomorrow we will do the remaining like health check where we configured in this Route 53 and Lambda also. So tomorrow is Wednesday, na? So tomorrow will be the last if things gets completed. Okay. And Saturday is final or Sunday? Tell me accordingly. I have to inform to other students also. Those who didn't appear in the last test for the previous batch, they will also come. Next is nothing here. After that, you will not be able to see me. So this Saturday or Sunday? Saturday. Done na? So Saturday, what time? 9 or 10? गर्दन दबा देंगे तेरा 11 सिर्फ